An x-intercept is the position at which a graph touches the x-axis. And a y-intercept is the position at which a graph touches the y-axis. So for horizontal, vertical, and slanted lines, the approach that we take to find the intercepts is a little different for each. That's why we want to know what type of line we're dealing with. Whenever we have a horizontal line, it should make sense that our line is going to touch the y-axis here, but not necessarily the x-axis. So this is an example of horizontal line, and it has a y-intercept. Now contrast that with a vertical line. A vertical line will have an x-intercept. Right here, touches the x-axis. A slanted line will always have both. Both a y-intercept and an x-intercept. That's a slanted line. Okay, so let's try it here on these line equations. A is y equals 2. First of all, we want to know what type it is, because the equation involves y only. This is a horizontal line. Now that we know that it's going to have a y-intercept, but no x-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be easy to find, the location, because for a line with an equation y equals 2, it's simply going to touch the axis at the point 0, 2. So all y-intercepts will have an x value of 0, because the point is neither to the right nor the left of the y-axis. It's on the y-axis. So we want to give it an x value of 0 and a y value of whatever the equation says. All right, let's try another one. Notice that this equation involves x only. So what type of line is it? It's a vertical line. Let's just sketch it real quick. X equals 1/3. So somewhere on the x-axis there's a 1/3. We just need a vertical line right there. And so now we want to find the coordinates of that point. Now, x-intercepts, they have a y value of 0. The elevation of them is 0 because they're on the x-axis. They're neither above nor below. So what x value should we give? Whatever the equation says. So our x-intercept is 1/3, 0. But when it comes to our y-intercept, there's none. All right, one last type. This one involves both y and x. So what type is it? Slanted line. Now this one's the toughest of all. So when it comes to the equation here, y equals -1/3 x plus 1, we have two letters m and b, which represent the slope of the line, it's called, and the intercept. So for us, the intercept is the number 1. Okay. Slope is -1/3. Now in order to write our y-intercept here, we actually use that b value. That's actually all we need. You give it a 0 for x, of course, because it's a y-intercept. It's on the y-axis. And then when it comes to the y value, you just got to give it whatever number is alone there. 0, 1. That's the y-intercept. Okay. Another way that we say we can find that is by plugging in a 0 for x. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you were to take that equation, y equals -1/3 times x plus 1. When you want to find the y-intercept, you plug in a 0 for x. Okay? So for the y-intercept, let x equals 0. That's how we find it. And then just multiply. 0 times -1/3 makes that part go away. And that shows that y equals 1. And then that's the number that you plug in there. And the 0 goes there. So that begs the question, what do you do for an x-intercept when it comes to a slanted line? You do just the opposite. You let y equal 0. Okay, why would we do that? Because here's the graph, okay? There's the x-axis, there's the y-axis. This line is negative 1/3 x plus 1. You plug in a 0 for x, you'll see that it's going to start up high here at the point 0, 1. That is the y-intercept. So where's the x-intercept of this thing? Somewhere over here for this line. Now, I don't know what the x value is yet for that. I know that when we connect them, we're going to get a nice slanted line. Okay. But I do know one thing about that point. It's got a y of 0. I don't know what the x is yet, but I'm about to solve for it. So you got to let y equal 0. This is the x-intercept. This one's the y-intercept. So you got to let x equals 0 for this one. You gotta let y equals 0 for that one. Okay, let's do it. Go to the equation. You get x, well, y equals negative 1/3 times x plus 1. That's the original. Okay. Now what you need to do is you got to take that y out and put a 0 there. Okay, because we let y equal 0. Now we just want to use the algebra techniques to solve this equation for x. So subtract 1 from both sides. You get negative 1 equals negative 1/3 times x. We'll now want to use that technique of multiplying by the reciprocal to get rid of the negative 1/3. And then just do it on both sides. Negative 3 times negative 1 makes 3. So our solution to that then is x equals 3. And so when you go to make your x-intercept now, you have to let the y be 0 because that's what you chose. And you got to put the x right there. 3, 0. That's the final answer for the x-intercept.